A shout out to Ge.Holla and
Hey, GeHolla, G.Holla.
Ge.Holla. Shout me to God here, man.
All y'all said entertainer, shout out my guy Ge.Holla.
Rocking right now with Ge.Holla.
Thank you so much.
Shout out to Ge.Holla reaching 1 million listeners on his podcast.
And gentlemen, you know what I'm saying? We find some of the coolest and smoothest people that there is. You know what I mean? Hey, this is the White Rose Project episode 2. You know, this brother out here doing this thing with a cool melodic flow that gets into the rhythm and the frequency of your body and your.
Welcome to White Rose Part 2 by my daddy, and I'm correct.
Good job. Ge.Holla, appreciate you for having me on, man. Genuinely appreciate it. How are you, bro? How are you, bro?
I'm good. How about you? You cool, smooth brother. I had to have you on, man. You know what I'm talking
about? Listen, man. You only get one chance to make a first impression, so that's what I do.
Hey, you apply pressure. You know what I'm saying? In your impression, you feel?
I try, but I appreciate the neckwear that you got on right there. I appreciate that.
Hey, man, listen, I just borrowed it, man. I got to return it after this, you know.
Right, ain't nothing wrong with that. I ain't gonna tell nobody.
I know. Ain't there but 12 million people gonna see this. But you know, it's all good. You know, this is small. I mean, you looking pretty fly yourself too, man. Like the tie man with the suit, man. You know, good brother. I can hear that Philly accent. I already know it.
Yeah.
Tell me about the story, my brother. Take me back. Where you from originally?
Well, you already know I'm from Philadelphia. I was raised in the West Oak Lane section of Philly. I get a lot of comparisons to Freeway just because of the vocal tone and the cadence of our voices. But yeah, as far as like my upbringing, you know, one of the records on White Rose 2, like I said, I didn't trap, but my upbringing was street adjacent. My parents were in the life, but because of my situation, I was always protected from that. So my struggle is different from the common rapper, but the struggle is still there. And of course, you know how it is for Black men in general. So there's also that aspect. But I had a my mom and dad and my grandmother, my paternal grandmother, made sure that even with what was going on around me, I was kind of shielded from it. And my upbringing was cool, man. My family did everything that they could do with the circumstances that they had. You know what I mean? Whatever. It's that old saying of like, you do your best with the resources that you have available to you. And that's how, you know, my family did. That's how my family was. So my upbringing was cool, man. I got an older brother who raps, and he rapped when I was a kid. So I took, like, when I say a kid, I'm talking about when I was like 5, 6, my brother was getting to it. You know, like in love with rap. So that's how it came to me, honestly. It really did. Shout out to my brother Rob Stashes.
Hey, that's dope right there. What's some challenges that you faced, you know, in your body, your mind, your spirit that you had to overcome? Because I believe your story, my brother, is a strong, powerful story for people out there to make them wake up. And sometimes we let our situations be debilitating and breaking us down and make us feel like we can't do, but when in essence we can do, no matter what we struggle with.
Sure, absolutely. So I was born with cerebral palsy, and with that comes its own physical struggle. Like I was limited, and when I say limited, there are degrees of cerebral palsy. Some are more severe. I had a more lenient version of it, but it's still, I don't want to say handicap because I hate using that word, but it still prevented me from doing a lot of physical things. Like, I didn't take my first steps till 4 because my hamstrings had to constantly, I constantly had to go in for surgery on my hamstrings. And then there was a period of time where I couldn't move. My legs were in a cast. And it was to the point where like I was in the hospital for a period of time, and my father and my mother had to stay with me. Like my father would post up next to me in the hospital and wouldn't leave my side until it was good for me to go back home. So with that comes a bit of I guess a bit of a chip on your shoulder, right? Because you're constantly told that you can't do things because it's not safe for you, but you don't receive that as a kid. You're saying, I'm just like everybody else. Why can't I? And I think that's where music came in, because music was my outlet to voice that frustration. You know what I mean? Like hip hop was so special to me, and it was because it was like the only thing that I was able to express myself and feel like, all right, if I can't do X, Y, Z, at least I can do this, and I know I'm all right with it.
No, I like that, brother. I like you sharing that because, that's another part of the struggle a lot of brothers don't talk about. Even with Prodigy of Mobb Deep, rest in peace to him. He has sickle cell. You know what I'm saying? I know people with sickle cell is very hindering, but you still get up with that pain in your body. You turn it into like a beautiful music, and that's what I'm sensing from you too as well. You know what I'm saying? You got to struggle within a struggle, but you did not let that hold you back. And I think that's a very inspiring story. And thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah, I most definitely, and I appreciate you for even giving it the time of day. I was telling my producer, who's like my brother, Dre Flow, shout out to him. He did 13 of the 14 tracks. There's a version of the album on my Bandcamp that has a hidden bonus track. So it's 14 tracks altogether, 13 on streaming. But Dre did 13 out of 14. But anyway, the reason I'm saying that is I told him when we started this, my daughter's starting to ask questions because I have a 6-year-old daughter. And she's on the other side of the camera now. She wants to come over. Come here. So, put your dial down. So I was telling Dre Flow, my daughter is now at the age where she's asking questions about my cerebral palsy. The best way that I could really explain it to her thoroughly is to make an album about it. Mm-hmm. Now, it's not all about that. There are 3 core interludes of the album that kind of separate throughout the course of the album. And that was my way of talking about it from birth to adolescence, when I was trying to find my voice, and then fatherhood, how it affected fatherhood, and when she became aware of it. All right, go ahead. Thank you. And it was just really cathartic to put it out that way, like just to create that. I'm like, of course, I want as many people to hear it as possible, right? But it's also, if nobody hears it, at least she heard it. And for that alone, and she's all over the project, so like you hear her voice on maybe like 4 or 5 songs. So just to have that moment with her was worth it as a father.
That's cool. I love family lineage rap. Even what Will Smith did, just the 2 of us with he and his son Jada. When he was just a baby. Yeah. I think you're in good company, man. I love to hear that father and son, father and daughter do match. Even with Kanye West now, letting his daughter rap.
Yeah.
That's a cool thing. And that shows us right there. Forget what these industry people are talking about. Rap is universal and it's ageless and it's timeless. Shout out to Killer Mike too for getting
absolutely. I was not for nothing. He won that Grammy, and I felt like all of us won that Grammy. I was like, that man is 50 years old, and he's been grinding since I was in high school. Congratulations to that brother. And that album is phenomenal. They actually got it right this year. That album is phenomenal.
That's what I'm talking about. And see what I'm saying? Like, how you going to tell somebody else that music has a date on it when music is timeless because it's vibrations? Vibrations are timeless. We still using the same inserts and beats from the 70s. Like, how much have they borrowed from like Parliament and James Brown? I know in the 90s, Wu-Tang, they whole catalog was almost
everything
Brown
is and you'll never hear me talk bad about the sampling process. My whole album is samples. Like, I love that sound. Me and Dre Flow and Fess and some other guys that I work with, we all kind of grew up on that sound. So it, like you said, music is timeless. It's vibrational. Like, my daughter adores James Brown, and that is 40 years past her. You know what I mean? Like, music is timeless. And I don't think it's ever too late, especially when you're doing it for the love of it.
No, I agree. They even got little kids that's on YouTube. They're like 3 and 4 years old listening to Michael Jackson. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and it resonates. It is something about music that just is special. And it's funny. If you got a chance to talk to my wife, she would tell you, before my daughter was born, I had kind of left music alone because I'm laser focused on being a dad now. But then my daughter gets here, and my daughter instantly adores music, like everything from Beethoven to Nas to the fatherhood records by Eminem, because you can't play but so much Eminem around a kid. But you know what I mean? Like Jay-Z, I've even introduced her to different genres. She's a fan of Paramore. She's a fan of Prince. Like, I give her a little bit of everything. But I'm saying all that to say, when I realized how much she loved music as a baby, it was like, nah, I got to at least do something with her around. And if you look up like some of my older stuff, there's a single from the first White Rose project called Ray of Light. My daughter's name is Karay, so I named the record Ray of Light, and she's all in the video. I just wanted to give that to her. And then she kept asking me, when can we go back to the studio? So now it's like, okay, so what do we talk about? Now she's talking about, well, going back to the cerebral palsy thing, she saw me fall one day. She saw me fall, and it broke her heart. So now I have to explain to you, it's okay, Daddy will fall sometimes. I'm always going to get back up. I'm always going to be okay because I don't give up. And that moment is what sparked the project. That moment.
That's powerful, man. I like what you said. What you said is something that we all could take. We can all partake in breakfast on, dinner, lunch, and brunch on. Sometimes you're going to fall, but you're going to get back up, and everything's going to be okay. That's the powerful thing. Even if it's simple as ABC 1, 2, 3, it still holds weight.
Absolutely.
A lot of us falling down, hadn't gotten back up because we start feeling sorry for ourselves. We start feeling bad. We're worrying about our image and how we look and how other people perceive us and how our positions in the world and what we have and what we don't have. We've all fallen, and we scared or petrified or too ignorant or too lack of knowledge to understand. You got to get up.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think that's seeing that side of hers would spark this creative side of me again, where I wanted to show her, like, listen, no matter how many times you get knocked down, literally or metaphorically, you have to get back up. You owe it to yourself to. Lick your wounds, get back up, get back in the ring. She's giving me the thumbs up on the other side of the screen. That's hilarious. So, yeah, my daughter's a character. But, as I was explaining the story, as I was explaining everything to her, it also made me think, well, maybe this can inspire somebody else, you know. And as heavy as the project is, it's probably the most fun I've had creatively. Like just being with my brothers. Shout out to, I know Brosco, he's on the album. Shout out to Rob Stashes, my blood brother, Courtesy, T-Real, my sister Monica, Blush. When I've created the project, I brought all my family, you know, literally, or, you know, family that you've chosen along the way. I brought them all in, and everybody was involved in the project, because I don't think I'm here today without my support system. You know what I mean? And I released the project as a thank you, as a thank you to everybody who saw me kind of go through things at different phases of life. And, you know, I'm still here. I'm still here. Yeah. And by the grace of God and the beauty of music, you know, hopefully I can leave an impact on somebody's life.
No, you have. I'm gonna say, you know, just like planting that seed, what you have done in this earth, you never know who you affect even long after we got from him. Even look at the people they now recognize, like DiCaprio and all these other people.
Yeah.
Leonardo da Vinci, you know what I'm saying? Long after their time, when somebody rediscover you in a whole another generation, they'll see your geniusness and they'll go, wow, this dude was profound.
Yeah, yeah. You know, and then, you know, you hear me talk about my daughter a lot because she inspired so much of this. Like that's her on the cover. It was, if anything ever happens to me, you have this. I left you this. If I leave you nothing else, I left you this. And I put my all into this for you. You know, and then share that with the world, and let that be the message. Yeah.
Message, man. You out here moving like Nas too. You got that visualization when you said that. You know what I mean? Nas put it down for his daughter.
Nas is a goat, man. Nas is an absolute goat. He's one of the dudes that inspired me to pick up a pen. It's a handful of dudes that just inspired me. He's definitely one. Redman was one. Black Thought's one. Eminem's one. Jay-Z's one. All the Wu-Tang. You pick a member, Deck, Ghost, Meth, Ray, like Dirty. I'm a hip hop connoisseur, man. I love everything. I love everything. Like I don't have an East Coast bias. I went through a No Limit phase where I thought No Limit was the best thing smoking. You know what I mean? Like they was putting out albums every week and I was here for it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I think it was just the way they moved, as a unit. Is P the best rapper? No, but the aesthetic of strong Black men and women together moving towards a common goal was just, yeah. So West Coast, I think Dre is my favorite producer ever. Like that's, it's funny, like for a period of time, Eminem was my favorite rapper and people would ask me why Eminem? And I would say Dre. Like M's nice, don't get me wrong. M is nice, but it's Dre. Dre's production will make you sound amazing. So I got Dre and Preem tied for number one, best producer of all time.
I agree with you. They're polar opposites of each other. Preem definitely got like that jazzy, you know what I'm saying? Classic, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's what I love about Preem, like the Gangstar sound, like and you know Preem gets kind of pigeonholed into being boom bap because that's his signature sound, but I think some of his most slept on work is what he did for Aguilera. He did some things for Aguilera that was heavily slept on, and I think that what he did for her showed me just how versatile he was as a producer. But because it's Aguilera, people our culture didn't take to it. But I'm a music fan. Like, I got as much Beethoven in my catalog as I got Rakim. So, you know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things. But I'm saying all that to say, as much as him and Dre are polar opposites, they're very much alike. Because where Preem went with Aguilera and did the pop thing for a second, Dre went over and messed with Burt Bacharach and did classical music. So it shows you the power of hip hop, like where across genres they're reaching over to us.
No, you're right. Of course, we being here until you like travel or know somebody. I already know the effect it has on us, but I didn't realize you're right. The effect that it had on like other countries until I think Wu-Tang came out with that documentary back in the day, and they showed how the people in China and Japan couldn't even speak English, but they could rap every lyric. I thought that was insane.
So that's how people are learning English. They're learning English through hip hop, through music, and it's so profound that something that started in the Bronx got so big that kids over in Japan are getting Wu-Tang logos tattooed on their arms, but couldn't tell you Method Man's real name because they don't speak English. Like, how amazing is that? Like, it's funny, but it's beautiful in its own way. Yeah.
No, I'm with you. Man, that's a powerful thought to think about.
Absolutely.
Man,
And
you dope.
And yeah, it's just one of those things too, where we all make our mark in one way, shape, or form. Like, even with you, like when I was talking to Q, a mutual friend of ours, he was telling me some of the people that you had interviewed before. And without name dropping, I don't like name dropping too much, but that's your legacy. Somebody is going to see those old interviews and be like, dang, GeHolla left a mark. Look where this person that he interviewed is now. Without name dropping, but one of the names I heard is one of those big wigs in Hollywood right now. So, you know what I mean? Like, I won't just make this about me. This is about us. This is about you. Like, if you make an impact on one person, you made an impact. So that's why I told you, like, look, I appreciate you for having me. I don't care who sees this. Like, I just appreciate the time.
I feel the same way, man. It's an African philosophy. It says, I am we. I am nothing without you. If you don't exist to create and to make music, I don't have nobody to talk to.
Right.
Like, symbiotic relationship. That's why I'll fold my hands like this, because, this represents the brain too. Nothing right here. Or brotherhood. You know what I'm saying? When we linked in, we locked in, man, look at what we can build. The world is out.
Absolutely. So again, I just appreciate the time. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I ain't nobody, but I just appreciate it. Seriously, I appreciate whatever you heard from the project, whatever you didn't hear or plan to go back to. Just reach out to me, let me know.
Brother, you are somebody, man. You know what I'm saying? Because they got me and some. When you spell SOME, as in me, you know what I'm saying?
No, that's real. That's real.
You definitely somebody for real, and you rocking and you doing your thing. And I support you in any way I can. Could you give us your social media and let the people know how to contact or follow you and find your music, please?
Yeah, that's at Azrael Dicaprio, AZRAEL That's on IG and Twitter, and I think my TikTok is Azrael RDSE, as in Raw Deal Squad Entertainment. That's what the RDSE stands for. So that's AZRAEL RDSE. Bandcamp, AzraelDicaprio.bandcamp.com. You can find the White Rose Project 2 Colonel Panic on all streaming platforms and on my Bandcamp. The Bandcamp version has a bonus track that's hidden once you make the purchase, you'll get the bonus track in the folder.
My good brother, did I cover everything for you today? You feel good?
Yeah, absolutely. If you don't mind, I do want to give a shout out to my team. Shout out to Dre Flow for all the production. Shout out to Rob Stashes, my brother, Jimmy Bones, T Real, Diana J. That's my Raw Deal Squad Entertainment family. Shout out to Fest One, one of my favorite producers. Everybody that contributed to Colonel Panic episode 2, White Rose Project. I know Roscoe, Courtesy, Motor General. Trying to remember who all, T Real, Diana J again, Blush. I just wanted to shout out everybody. You know, I don't take any of that for granted. Thanks for having me. My name is Azrael Dicaprio, and this is My Celebrity Life.
To White Rose Part 2 by my daddy, and I'm correct.
Good job.
Thank you.
Flow, let's get 'em. Stashes.
You got so many things to do.
Lord Vader, your savior, next episode. Kill everything, you'll be left to notice you're next to go. Professional, no clue tape on Rockefeller. Provocateur, I'm Tupac Shakur going acapella. Stop it, fella. That's freeze framing the Celtic cross. The shame is I push forward just to be felt across. Fan bases I care less to pacify. Ready to live, at times I felt like a master die. Strategize, I'm BD Wong in the tailor fit. Who knew world domination could look so elegant? Island irrelevant, stand alone as tribal chief. Acknowledge me or you'll never breathe a sigh of relief. When shall I cease when my daughter's daughter has granddaughters? And sheep's clothing, waiting to see these lambs slaughtered. A lone wolf from Baron Corbin, your end of days is in the making. They've been afraid of a renegade. Without a blueprint, dropping the album, the